Guys, Robot1 here, and today I am doing the Future of Yugioh segment on my channel, and I am going to be talking about monarchs. And for you guys who haven't watched this segment before on my channel, this segment is where I talk about cards that are already out, coming out, or just completely broken that I think are going to be really good in the Future of Yugioh, and I think that are going to make the game very good and just break it a bit as well. And I think these cards that you should just start playing, because these cards are actually very good, and when they come out they could actually be meta defining. So today, as you can see, we're going to be talking about the new monarch support coming in the structure deck either this week or next week. Not too sure about that. And I'm also going to be talking about ways to kind of get around this deck. So yeah, let's start off with talking about Eberus, the Netherworld Monarch, sorry. So this is a dark level 8 zombie effect monster with 2800 attack, 1000 defense. Its effect is, you can tribute summon this card by tributing one tribute summon monster. Okay, so that effect's kind of like the other Mega Monarchs, but the other Mega Monarchs have to be tributed with a monster of the same attribute that was tribute summoned. So that's a pretty good effect because you can tribute anything. So you could be like, oh, I have this useless Monarch on my board. I can tribute summon for this, get its effects off, do better plays. Its next effect is, if this card is tribute summoned, you can send 2 monarch spell or trap cards with different names from your hand or deck to the graveyard. And if you do, shuffle one random card from your opponent's hand at random, so hand is at random, field or graveyard into the deck. Now that is a very good effect, guys, because this guy could just summon, you could just summon this guy, get rid of a big floodgate that they have that's really hindering you, and then, or you could just get rid of a problematic card in your opponent's hand if you're going first, and you could just be like, oh, you're playing with 5 cards instead of 6 now, you're playing with the same advantage I had at the start of the duel, GG. So yeah, that's already a really good effect, and it's already a great thing as well. And its next effect is, once per turn during either player's main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can discard one monarch spell or trap card, then target one monster in your graveyard with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense, add it to your hand. So basically this effect is pretty good because you can target even itself, by the way. It doesn't say you can't target itself, but you could basically discard a useless monarch spell or trap card, or even this if you don't have a target, you know, for its effect. Get its effect off, either add this or some other monarch back to your hand, maybe be able to tribute summon it and get more effects off purely because you had this card. So that's just a great card in general. This card will be one of the best cards in the deck. It's probably the one going to be most used because it's really good for the deck and it just really hinders your opponent. And it's probably going to be one of the best cards of the deck. So yeah, so this card is a great card off the start, great card to talk about off the bat. I honestly didn't know half of what this card does because I haven't tested much against monarchs, and I can see this card being really, really good. So, seeing as we talked about this card, let's go on to the next monarch, which is Aether the Heaven Monarch. Aether the Heaven Monarch is a light, level 8, fairy effect monster, 2800 attack, 1000 defense. Its effect is, you can tribute summon this card by tributing one tribute summoned monster. So basically the same as Eberus, but it doesn't have to be tributed using a certain element, so that's pretty good as well. If this card is tribute summoned, you can send 2 monarch spell or trap cards with different names from your hand and / deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one monster with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense from your deck, but return it to the hand during the end phase. Now that's a pretty good effect purely because it can bring up the OTK potential in the deck a maximum, and you'll also get dumping cards from your deck to the grave, so you can get off stuff. So you can use stuff like this and this to get more plus. Really good for those facts. and it's also amazing. So that's a really good effect right off the bat, and I think this card's going to be a really good card as well, because of the OTK potential it can have for the Monarch deck. Its next effect is, during your opponent's main phase, if this card is in your hand, you can banish one Monarch spell or trap card from your graveyard. Immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon this card. This is a quick effect. So basically, you can tribute summon this opponent during your opponent's turn to by banishing one spell or trap card from your graveyard, or Monarch spell or trap card, and just instantly bring it out. And you can also use its other effect during your opponent's turn to bring out another big monster, say Mega Caius. Mega Caius can come to hand. You will gain the next turn tribute for Mega Caius and get an effect off that banishes cards. Or you could even summon this and then do the same. That's really good, guys, because it actually allows you to protect yourself that turn. If they use something like, say they use a Compulse. Or maybe, I don't know, Castell? You could be like, activate this, tribute it, resolves, now you have this big monster on board, and Castell's a 28 monster and they can't get over it. So that's a really good card as well. Definitely helps the OTK potential in the deck, and I would say this is going to be a good card. I would say this card will probably be run at 2 or 3, maximum amount 2, minimum amount 2, because you wouldn't really want to run 1 in my opinion, because it's actually a really good card for the deck. And it's probably going to really help the deck OTK a lot, like I said. Same with this. You'd probably run 3 the max amount because of how good its effect is to just shuffle opponent's cards back into the deck. So next, let's talk about this one, because this comes out, this makes this do things. Yeah. So this is Idea, the Heaven Knight. It's a light, level 1 warrior effect monster, 800 attack, 1000 defense. Its effect is, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense from your deck, except Idea the Heaven Monarch. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of this turn. Now that's a really good effect, because this effect can actually essentially bring out any vassal, even this, from the deck if you decide to play the vassals, get the effects off, do plays, and be able to make tribute summons of big monsters. So that's a really good effect as well. So its next effect is, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Monarch spell or trap cards, add it to your hand. Wait, so you could basically, this card gives you more advantage, and you can also, and it's only be able to use once per turn. So basically, this card can essentially recycle your spells and trap cards, maybe Pandemonium or the True Monarch Dominion, and just gain big effects. Because recycling your cards is amazing, because you can just be like, oh, this is sent to grave, I banished this Monarch spell card with this, I can now use this, add either this or this to hand, get effects off, and I believe this can banish itself as well. So if you just send this to graveyard, you can gain more, you can just bring it back and gain even more effects, I believe, depending if it's once per turn or not. I cannot remember, we'll be finding that out in a minute. So that's another great card for the Monarch deck. You'll probably be running this up 3, the maximum amount, because that just helps the deck out so much. Plus it gives you more tribute fodder for the deck, which is very good. So next, let's get on to Eidos, the Netherworld Knight. It is a dark level 2 spellcaster effect, 800 attack, 1000 defense. Its effect is, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate this effect. You can tribute summon one monster during your main phase this turn, in addition to your normal summon / set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. So that effect is basically what you would use with this, because you would use this effect to summon this, gain this effect to normal summon again, tribute summon for a big monster, then gain effects, which would help the deck out a lot as well. So that's a really good card, because of the tribute fodder is good as well. You can gain an additional summon, make more Monarch plays, get more Monarch's effects off, and then just continue to go out of order with this deck. So its next effect is, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense in your graveyard, except Eidos, the Netherworld Knight. Special summon it in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of this turn. So basically, that's a good effect as well, because if you've got both of these in the grave, you could be like, banish this, special this. This effect special summons another one of this from the deck, gain an additional summon, have 2 tribute summons that have about 2 tribute summons that turn, make many more plays, and just go for an OTK play that could be amazing for the Monarchs. So that's a really good effect as well, and this card is going to be one of the best cards in the deck as well. This card you would probably play 3 of as well, because you would really want to play 3/3, because 3 of this card is probably the best, because of 3 of this so you can summon another one of this, and then 3 of this so you can special summon this from grave, and just gain more and more effects, which is very, very good. Because these two kind of synergize together, even though they're basically opposites, one from heaven and one from hell. But yeah, very good effects, and I think they're going to really help each other out a lot. So the next card we're going to be talking about is a Monarch spell card, which is Pandemonium of the Monarch. So this is one of the most broken cards in the deck currently. It's the reason why the deck is going to be one of the most powerful decks, including the next card. But this is the most broken spell card in the deck. So let's start by talking about this card. So this is a normal spell card. Its effect is, send 1 Monarch spell or trap card from your hand to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. So you wouldn't think that's a really good broken effect, because you could be like, oh, send my card, I've now just 2'd for 2. But deck thinning in this format is very good. Plus you could what am I saying? Plus you could send something like this, the original Monarch, which has an effect as well that allows it to be special summoned, and then gain more effects off just because of this card. So this card can actually bring more advantage to the deck just because you draw 2 and you just send that 1 spell or trap card to the graveyard. And its next effect is, you can banish this card from your graveyard as a cost. You can tell by the little brackets. Reveal 3 Monarch spell or trap cards from your deck. Have your opponent add 1 of them to your hand. Also shuffle the rest back into your deck. You can only use this effect of Pandemonium Monarchs once per turn. So basically that effect allows you to be able to search. Say you've got 3 of a copy of a card in your deck, you can instantly search it out, just get that effect off, and if not, you can just let your opponent choose something and reveal 3 broken Monarch spell cards. They have to choose 1 and then they just give you 1 of them, because that's actually a really good thing, and this deck loves to do that stuff. So I really like this card. I wish I could use it in my decks, but I can't. But that's okay, because it's still a great card. So good card in my opinion, and just great. And now for the next Monarch spell trap card we're going to be talking about is the True Monarch's Dominion. It is a field spell card, and its effect is, while you have no cards in your extra deck, if your opponent tribute summons if you control a tribute summoned monster and your opponent does not, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. If a tribute summoned monster you control attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 800 attack during the damage calculation. So basically, those first 2 effects are, your opponent can't have your extra deck anymore, they just goes out the window. You can no longer play Yu-Gi-Oh because of it, and GG, well played. It locks out pendulums, it locks out the extra deck, and it basically locks out the whole Pepe deck, because Pepe really likes this special summon from the extra deck to win their games, and they can't really do it otherwise. Okay, so its next effect is, also the 800 gain effect is pretty good. It's not that great because it has to be when the Monarch tribute summon monster is attacking, not when it's attacked. So that's an okay effect, but it's still really good because boosting attack brings out more OTK potential. Plus having a 3/6 monster, legitimate. Yeah, so its last effect is, once per turn you can reduce the level of 1 Monarch monster in your hand that has 2800 attack and 1000 defense by 2. Even after they are summoned/set, if this card leaves the field, even after they are summoned/set, or if this card leaves the field until the end of the turn. So basically they're reduced until the end of the turn, regardless if the card leaves the field, your Tier, or anything like that. So that's a really good effect, because you can be like, oh, I reduce this, I reduce this, tribute summon maybe one of these, and then be like, effect, you lose a card regardless of everything. Or you could be like this, reduce summon OTK, GG, well played. So that actually helps the deck a lot, and I can't wait to see what this deck will do with these cards. And the final card we're going to be talking about is the original Monarch. So, well, it's not the final card because I'm going to be talking about two cards that can stop the deck in its tracks. Well, yeah. So, the last card is the original Monarch. The original Monarch is a continuous trap card. Its first effect is, once per turn, you can target 2 Monarch spell trap cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. So that basically gives the deck recycling potential. It allows them to recycle their spell cards, get an additional card, and it just helps the deck with draw power and additional and just recyclability. So you don't have to run stuff like Jar of Avarice and stuff, even though they've already got this that allows them to draw 2. And its next effect is, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 1 other Monarch spell trap card from your graveyard, special summon this card in defense position as a normal monster. Fairy, light, level 5, attack 1000, defense 2400. This is not treated as a trap card. You can only use this effect of the original Monarch once per turn. Okay, so basically, instead of it being, this card can special summon itself as a normal monster, so you have the tribute folder. It's not treated as a trap card, so they can't be like MST. And it's just got a big butt to survive. So this is a very decent card, I would say. It's got good versatility. It's a great way to just stop your opponent in their tracks if they're just trying to OTK. And I would say it's just a great card in general. It's got recyclability. It's a monster in its own right. And it just helps the deck amazingly with the recycles. So this card's a great card. I would say it's going to be run at maybe 2 or 3, depending on how ratios go. Well, ratios, what am I saying? Depending on how people see the card good or not. And yeah, great card in my opinion. So now we're going to be talking about the 2 cards that stop this deck in their tracks. So first, it's a card called Fog King. Now, Fog King is a water, level 7, 0 attack, 0 defense effect spellcaster. Now you're probably thinking, oh, why would I ever use a level 7 in my deck? Well, this card's effect is, you contribute 1 monster or no monsters to normal summon this card, but not set. So basically, this card can be summoned, can be just normal summon. But that's not why it's, well, that's one of the reasons it's good, but it's not the reason you would think it would be good. Its next effect is, the attack of this card, freaking hell. The attack of this card becomes the combined original attack of the tributed monsters. So basically, it's got the effect of the Wind Dragon of Ra in a way, where it gains all the attack of the monsters that were tributed for it. So that's a good effect as well, because you could be playing Pepe, Tribute 2, it would have I would say, lowest of 2,000? No, the lowest attack in the deck you could probably summon it with is about 1,200, and the highest, if you were going with just main deck, would probably be 36? Yeah, about 36 attack. So it's already it can already have a big stat, but that's not why it's so good. The reason it's so good against Monarchs is that this last effect, cards cannot be tributed. If your opponent cannot tribute summon monsters, they cannot win the duel. Which is why this card is a great card against Monarchs. Because if they can't tribute summon, you can win just from that. Because if they don't draw Raigeki, if they don't draw anything, they lose the game. As long as this monster will have at least, say, more than 800 attack, they can't even normal summon one of these to beat it down. So you're going to want to at least tribute summon for it. So that's why this card is such a good card against that one measly deck. So Fog King can just wreck Monarchs non-stop, all day, every day. So that's why it's such a good card. And the last card we're going to be talking about is actually a card that I didn't think I'd ever be talking about, and that is Mask of Restrict. Now, Mask of Restrict is a continuous trap card. Its effect is, monsters cannot be tributed. So basically, these 2 cards are the same card, but one is a monster and one is a trap. And they're just so good against monarchs that you have to use them. I suggest you pick these up, because as soon as that deck drops, these cards will probably go up in price amazingly. So yeah, guys, tell me what you think of this video. Tell me if you liked me talking about this new Monarch support that's going to be so broken, plus 2 cards that will be able to stop the deck in its tracks. And please, guys, like, comment, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Please, please, please enjoy more video. Wait. Nah, never mind. I don't know why I'm saying please anymore. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and bye, guys. Sounds like I'm a beg now.